Okay, so you should have already seen my video. Um, Please forgive the dogs barking in the background. Never fails. I was hoping that the phone wouldn't ring, and it didn't, but the dog started barking. That was a puppy in the background that hasn't barked since today. First time ever hearing it bark, so isn't that just how things go? I wanted to, talk about some of the techniques that I used in the video. I did utilize with the intergenerational family therapy approach by Bowen. I used process questions. I asked my client, how was her struggle? Uh, how would she relate her struggle with weight as compared to her mother's struggle? Was it same or was it different? I was also able to establish a trend of like an emotional cutoff in the family, where you could see that her older daughter does not really, keep in contact with her father. I'm hoping to delve into that further in next session as to the reasons why. She did tell us that, he was a drug addict. She did give us an example of, the stupid things he will say that sets her off. And I could see where, you know, um, why a daughter could be frustrated with those kind of comments, and thus, why reach out to talk to somebody that, is going to insult you. So there was an emotional cutoff there that I was able to identify. I also, you know, was able to identify a multi-generational pattern. She has uh, herself had an eating disorder. Um, Her mother, she identified with seeing patterns when she was younger of her mother taking diet pills. Her mother would, uh, she said off tape, she saw her mother, in the bathroom throwing up, she thinks. Her oldest daughter became bulimic in, early on in her life and battled that for about, 20 something years. Her, on the genogram, which I will post, you'll also notice that her cousin, her first cousin, struggled with eating. Um, and as well as, although her daughter is younger, her, her daughter's her younger daughter, pardon me, her younger daughter didn't really struggle with an eating disorder per se. Food has always been the focus. Everybody in a lot of the family members and female family members in this family, on both, um, the maternal side, dealt with some battles with eating in their life. So it's obviously obvious that, eating is something that they use to triangulate to as a way of, taking their focus off of some other things that they might be dealing with. I will delve into, what is the trigger for the eating? Is it something emotional, or, like a time, do we all just like food? Um, I also, I validated, her feelings, saying that, I do understand how that could be frustrating. I understand your concern about, your granddaughter's eating and how you don't want her to have a problem, later on with this being an issue. But, I also did point out to her that, she should, try to redirect the granddaughter. I gave her I gave her a relational experiment to try to uh, divert the granddaughter's attention from food, such as offering her an option of let's go for a walk, and then coming home and giving her a healthy snack as an alternative, to redirect the focus. So the focus isn't always food, and also her focus isn't always criticizing the eating of food. I was able to get out of her that, she does have a tendency to tell people, oh, hey, great, you look thin. Oh, wow, did you lose weight? It's always been the focus for her, she says. She feels as though, it's not something she means to do, but that was how her value was equated when she was, younger, and still to this day. She always feels better when she's thinner. I also, encouraged some differentiation of self, to kind of have her act outside of the way she normally would to a situation, and try to find other things that are positives about somebody rather than it's their weight or their appearance. Um, I could have done a little bit better with encouraging differentiation of self. It's a little difficult for me to understand as well. Um, I used open ended questions with her. I paraphrased what she was saying, and I also had empathy for her, and I related to her. I did feel as though I joined her and made her feel at ease with asking her how her weekend was. Um, I do this with a lot of my clients. I kind of open up to them and let them know what's going on in my life, so it helps them, let down their guard. I mean, I do so in a way to not let them, not for me not to tell them their problems, but I also uh, I I don't tell them my problems. I want them to feel like they can open up to me, so I open up to them a little bit to let them know that I'm not above certain things, and then anything that they've been through that I most likely have had troubles with myself. Um, my struggle with the approach here is that there are aren't so many you know techniques in this theory as with the others. But one of the biggest techniques is the genogram, which at first I thought was very difficult to do because I was trying to study the relational patterns and having a hard time with it. But after doing it a few times and writing it over and doing it in pen and deciding to do it in pencil the first time, uh, I ended up getting a really good feel for it, and it was very easy to see these trends throughout the family genogram. So, well, that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this. And sorry for my technical difficulties in trying to get this up. I wish I could have just had one video, but uh, until I become a professional at movie editing and such, this will have to do. And thank you. I look forward to your